I'm Luke's mother, Carrie Hassel. The reason we came to LearningRx was because at Luke's last psychological assessment, we found out there were some deficits in his cognitive reasoning. We went there because we were concerned about his attention span. He's been previously diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder and some sensory integration issues, which haven't really been manifesting themselves too much in his daily life. But we were just concerned about what was causing his inability to really listen and follow at school, whether it's oral instruction or themes of books and lessons, even TV programs that were much longer than 15 minutes. Understanding the big picture seemed difficult for him. So we were looking for ways to address his cognitive abilities, maybe try to get some connections working in his brain to just make sense of the world as a macro, in a macro sense versus the micro, because he is very good at focusing on small details. Characters of, whether it was Thomas the Tank Engine when he was 4, or any Star Wars character when, as he got older, whatever, he found great interest, he could really focus on that. But seeing the big picture in social, say, school was just difficult for him. So, when we were looking for cognitive therapies, just anything to help him in that regard, LearningRx kept coming up on our Google search, and I saw in a magazine, a friend of mine from elementary school was highlighted in an article in one of the local magazines, and I spoke to her about her experience with LearningRx, and that's when we decided to come in for a talk. Okay, so one of the best things that we experienced, or that we take away for Luke, for us it was never about test scores. Luke had a fabulous trainer that he established a wonderful relationship. Now, Luke's not a kid who has many personal relationships. There are very few people that really get to know him very well and appreciate him. And Osama really took the time to get to know him as a person, and encouraged things like good manners and eye contact, and not only praising him and finding the right methods or rewards to get Luke's best work out of him, but also kept him on the straight and narrow. And there were some hard days for Luke, but he worked through those, and he was always excited to come in and see Osama. There were things he wanted to share, and he definitely liked playing jokes with him, which was also a very new thing over the last year. Is his sense of humor seems to really be emerging. Osama was absolutely a wonderful influence on his life. Do you know one major thing for Luke that I noticed was when he won the President's Contest. And I have never seen Luke motivated. There was a President's Party for President's Day, and one of the early things that they learned to do at LearningRx is to memorize all 40 presidents. And when he realized there was a challenge on to be the person who could do it the most quickly, this is the first time I ever saw him with a goal, study for something, practice, and see it through. And he won this contest, and he was delighted and pretty much told everybody who would listen that he had made this achievement. So it was nice to see him have more confidence and be proud of something and talk about it to other people. At home, Luke has calmed down a bit. He's also much more engaged. He likes to talk at dinner. He is asking questions, personal questions of other people. He's definitely got more empathy, wants to understand, make people feel better. He's my peacekeeper in the house now, which is a very nice thing to have. He's also really able to entertain himself a little bit better. He's really gotten into expressing himself artistically. He's just drawn all the time. As we got further into the program, he started to look forward to coming. He started coming out of his shell a lot more socially. I started getting compliments, I'd say, at the beginning of school. So it was about halfway through the program, teachers, like his music teacher, said, "What are you doing differently? He's such a funny kid. He's really coming out of his shell. He's actually participating. And so I've had compliments from not only his regular teachers, but the specialist teachers, music, art, even the special ed teachers really saw a difference in him. As I say, he's definitely a lot more engaged. I mean, I know my mother came down to visit. We happened to be doing his graduation, and she was just so emotional to see such a change in him, outgoing, see him succeed, see what nice things people had to say about him, including his trainer at the end, and how much he had progressed in his tests as well. That she could really see a change where, as a mother, sometimes it's hard to see those small daily incremental changes, but